It must be Tuesday because here we are again. And I swear, the older you get, do not do it. Do not get older because the older I get, the faster it goes. Anyways, those of you who might have the bad luck of being as old as I am, you might already know that. But anyway, so we're back here tonight. Dieter Staudinger and the Fearless Flight weekly live show on Facebook. Welcome everybody. And I'm going to get right into it like I knew what I was.
YouTube and wherever else you can watch us live.
So this is Fearless Flight Live, our weekly show on Facebook for people who are afraid to fly. If you know somebody who's afraid to fly, or you're just fascinated with airplanes and flying and you want to kind of keep in touch with the industry because you fly. And the next thing that we always recommend is if you're not a member, please consider going over here to flf.link/birds of a feather BOF and join our Birds of a Feather group. It's growing every day, and we really love to have you in there because the more the merrier, and the more you're in there, the more you can support and be supported. So tonight, possible surprise guest. I know the answer to that right now. And we're going to talk a little bit about the July monthly group coaching session, which is coming up in just 2 days on Thursday night, July 17th. A little bit about air traffic control from a different perspective and be kind of for your information thing. Just a brief update on Air India, what we learned this last week, which was kind of surprising. And then your questions. And we're going to Dieter's got some questions that we're going to throw out periodically. He'll say them live on the air. We'll engage him, and then he's going to put them in the comments. And we would love to have any of you out there that see him. Just give us an answer. We're just throwing things out. So, all right, our surprise guest. It comes to us all the way from, I think, Tokyo, definitely Japan, and it is Roxana. And Roxana, if you want to come on board and join us here, I would love to see your smiling face. Thank you so much. For everybody out there, this is the kind of sacrifice that people make when they're part of Fearless Flight. So she made the mistake of writing me a text today, and she said, "I'm flying tomorrow. Can you give me some words of wisdom?" So I said, "Sure." I didn't say for a price, but I kind of extracted a price there. So thanks so much, Roxana. It's so cool, and because you're so fresh with this.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, it's so exciting to have you here. I'm gonna unshare so they can see your gorgeous face, and I'll reshare in a minute. Oops, I forgot to do the stop share. So there we go. Okay, so tell everybody
Hello, guys. Hi.
Where you are at, Roxana.
Oh, I'm in Tokyo. I'm in Tokyo, Japan. I've been here since July 3rd, and it's been awesome. I came with my family. The kids love it. I did this trip for the kids.
You did. I can attest to that.
Yep, it's been a great experience. Of course, I still feel a little nervous.
Sure.
But the more I think about it, it gets better. We have to support each other, and the nerves are always going to be there. But we always have to remind ourselves that our mind is more powerful, and as long as we keep listening to you, attending your weekly shows, it makes a huge difference. So I'm here because of you guys, and thank you. Thank you.
I'll take some of that.
It's a great experience.
I'll take some of the credit, but I'm gonna tell you that don't blame me and your success, because I've been with you this whole time and you've been working your fanny off. And so when did this all start to happen? When did you realize, okay, I gotta go to Japan?
Oh no, not me. My kids. They've been bugging me for the past couple of years. So finally, on December, I decided, okay, we'll do it. We'll buy the ticket. And we bought the ticket. And I was preparing little by little, just listening to you, the weekly shows. I bought your book. I bought the harmonizer, which I listen every day. And And on the day of the flight, I listen in maybe about 4 or 5 times, and also while I'm flying.
Yeah.
So it's a process. It's one flight at a time. It's a
Yeah.
process. You have to learn what works for you. And it's a 10-hour flight. So every hour, every 30 minutes now, I have a schedule of what things to do. It's either playing cards, reading, listening to music, watching a video, watching a movie, talking to my kids, eating, snacking, bathroom breaks. It's like I count everything. I have a little bit of a schedule because it keeps me busy and not to think. And believe it or not, it helps.
Yes.
And to
Everything else, right?
myself.
Everything plays a role in what you're doing. I want to emphasize the one thing that you said. People say, "What's the first thing I should do, Capt Ron?" I say, "Buy a ticket," and that's what you did. You bought the ticket, and then you worked your way up to it. And you pat yourself in the back. That is so absolutely courageous, Roxana. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It's
okay. So as you
been a
get, so
journey.
all the things that you did, and then as it got closer, tell everybody what it was like 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Oh, boy. It was hard. Reading a lot, listening to the harmonizer every day, um,
What were
and
the thoughts going through? Okay.
talking to
Well,
you.
before we get to talking to me, what were the thoughts that were going through your mind?
Oh, the
You remember
thoughts.
what you?
Yeah, I'm gonna cancel it. I'm gonna cancel the flight. There's no way I could make this. No way. But then I kept thinking, I kept thinking about my kids. I mean, they were
Yeah.
just so excited looking at them. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're so excited packing. They were packing. They were making plans of what the things they were going to do in Japan. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I cannot. No, I have to do it. I have to, no matter what. I
So if
have
you
to
had
do
not gone with
this.
them, they might have voted you out of the family, right?
Oh, they would have just said, forget it. And I didn't want to show the fear to them. And that's one of the
Sure.
things.
Tell people about that. Tell people how pressing that was for you, how
Oh,
much of a worry that was.
I keep telling myself, okay, you got this fear, but you cannot show it to the kids. Because I don't want
Yeah.
them to go through what I do. It's just not, it's
Sure.
horrible. It's just a horrible feeling. Why? They just they're not thinking about the wrong things, like the things that it can go wrong. They're just thinking about the things that the greatest things that they can experience. So I said, I cannot shut them down this way. It's me. I
Yeah.
have to work with myself. And every day I had to listen to you, the shows, uh, and just telling myself, I gotta do this. I need to keep it strong for them. Every day, repeating myself, listening to quotes, like, to on TikTok or Instagram,
Sure.
anything that could
Sure.
help me, realize that I can do this, that I'm strong and I can do this for the kids.
So
Yeah.
do they have a little bit of a clue that mom's a little nervous sometimes?
No, no, no. Actually, they didn't. So far, I think they're okay. They didn't say anything. They were just telling me, Mom, can you stop? I want to go to sleep. Oh, that's when I was in the plane. And I'm like, okay. And
Did you did you get into Harry Potter at all with your son?
a couple of questions, because
Okay.
he's reading the book. So
Yeah.
he has about 20 pages left. So that's why, I think on our way back, he's going to finish and then we're going to watch the movie. But I did ask a couple of questions and he was really
Sure.
good. He answered all of
For
them. So
people listening, that came up because one of your when you really committed to getting on, then pardon me. What I remember then is the issue of how long the flight was going to be and what you were going to do. So then you came up with a plan and you mentioned some things like your son's a big Harry Potter fan and you and he have been talking about the movies and the books and stuff
right,
like that. And so that was the plan. But my sense is that typically what people do, they have more plans than they need, and it turns out they didn't need everything that they
right.
they.
So you're right. One of the things that I didn't do, and it was on my schedule, is playing cards. I said, oh, I forgot about it. So on our way back, that's the first thing I'm gonna
Maybe on the
do.
way back. Yeah.
Yeah. So but it's a journey. Yes,
Roxana, we got
I
a
did her.
question. First of all, before the question, is a big I so admire what you're doing. Thanks so much for sharing your courage. So that's first of all. And then
Oh, you're very
second of all,
welcome.
how old are your kids?
10 years old, 15, and 22. So
Okay.
yeah, and I interact with them, with all of them, with the three
Mhm.
of them, on this schedule. And it's worked. It has worked for me. There was turbulence, which,
Mhm.
I was suspecting it, but I cannot control it, and it's normal. So I keep telling myself that. Um, I flew Japan Airlines, and one of the things that I noticed with Japan Airlines is that the seatbelt sign was not really turned on as much, even though there were turbulence. I said, "Oh, it's gonna
Okay.
turn on," and then I was like, "Wow, okay." And also notice another thing that I noticed is of the flight attendants. Great service, by the way. And the flight attendants did not stop at all. They were back and forth. So another things that I focus on is looking at them, how, well, they were just walking around, serving us, always asking, well, if we need anything. So, that actually kind of caught my attention, and I was like, oh, okay, so that means everything is fine.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so little things that can help you while you're in flight. Reminding yourself everything is going to be okay, and it's okay.
And
Mhm.
listen to the things that, listen to the state of mind that you were in. You were
Right.
noticing things that calmed you as opposed to things that would cause you to be more anxious. Okay.
Yes. So focus on things that it can calm you and not. Like if I hear a sound, I said, okay, well, it's a sound. It's okay. It's normal. Nobody's panicking. Everything is okay. All right. So it's fine. So I went back to, my schedule.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
And what
So
was the hardest part? What was the most challenging part on the flight over?
the takeoff
Okay.
probably was the most challenging part. Um, and after that, it was okay. It was a smooth fly. Again, there was some turbulence as expected. There's always going to be turbulence, no matter
Right.
what. And but the flight itself was not bad at all. Um, I told you that there's the typhoon Nori. Was here Monday, and we still have a little bit of rain off and on.
It was a
Um,
typhoon, like we call a
yes,
hurricane over here. Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
a typhoon, and but it was okay. It rained. It rained yesterday all day, and I think it's predicted to rain again tonight, and tomorrow's going to be off and on and off. Um, but yeah, but they didn't cancel our flight, so everything is okay. Everything it's a schedule. So
Yeah, and just kudos to you, Roxana. It's just you're just an amazing person, and it was so inspiring to work with you. And we talked. I created a visualization for you. Was that
yes.
helpful?
Oh,
In addition to the
it was
harmonizer, yeah.
great. Yeah,
Okay,
sorry. Besides the harmonizer, yeah, that visual um vocalization about, our meeting.
right.
I
We had
think
we had a coaching call, and then I just
right.
took that, transcribed it, and then I made a
And
script just for you and put
yes,
it on there.
yes. And it was great because I kept repeating it, and it calmed me down. Because it was me also hearing myself. Also, well, you were there, of course.
Sure.
But it was good. It really it helped me so much during the flight.
Yeah, I'm going to share what you wrote to me just 2 or 3 hours ago, something like that. Hello, Capt Ron. This is Roxana. I'm flying back to San Francisco from Tokyo tomorrow, and the anticipatory anxiety is building up. Also, the latest news doesn't help much. The typhoon Nori passed by. Was the latest news the typhoon? Is that was
Yeah.
that in here? Okay.
Yeah. That was Monday, Tuesday.
Okay.
Yes.
Is passed by Japan Monday, which is 2 days ago your time now, because it's Wednesday over there, and we still have rain and gusty winds and the emergency landing in
Oh,
LA.
in
I'll be
LA, that was yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that was the latest.
and I just want to remind people that that's what it is. That's real life. You're not going to get rid of everything, all the anxiety in the next time you fly, but what you're doing is just to try to keep going forward and making progress. And you did that. And you mentioned your kids in there today, and it's just amazing that what you've accomplished. And I'm so glad. Thank you so much for
Thank
agreeing to
you.
come on here. Bye.
Thank
Oh
you
my
for
gosh.
having me. Thank you.
You're
Thank you to all of you guys and my friends out there.
the next time you fly.
I totally understand
Is just to
what
try
you're
to keep
going
going
through,
forward and making progress. And
but
you do that.
we
And
got this
you
great
mentioned,
community. We got to support each other, and you can do it. Yes, we can
hey,
do it.
thanks, Roxana. And you can stay if you want, but I'm going to let you go if you want because you still got vacation to spend over there. So anyway,
I got to
so
take
you
my
do
kids
that.
to brunch.
Yeah,
But
my
thank you. Yes.
you bet. My
Thank you
best to you and your
guys.
family. Thanks,
All right.
Roxana.
See you
Super, super.
Thursday.
Thank
Okay.
Bye-bye.
you. Bye, Roxana. Have a great rest of your trip.
Thanks. Thanks, Theater. Okay. Bye.
Okay, so anybody out there who has doubt, that should take away some of it. Anybody can do this. And if you had the opportunity, like I did, to talk to Roxana while she was preparing for this, she would have days that she would feel good, feel better, days that would drop, and then when she got right up to it, she just could not, or had great difficulty getting that whole thought about 11 hours in that airplane. And as it turned out, she did marvelous. She did marvelous. She had little little peaks in there with some valleys, and she did awesome.
But the most important thing that I heard is like she had a really big why, right?
Yes, big why.
Taking her kids to Japan was a huge why, which obviously is really what brings the juice into the batteries when you hit one of those valleys, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing though that I did hear, which made me really feel good about the stuff that we're doing, Ron, and that is she stuck to the plan. First of all, she had a plan. That's
exactly.
number one. Before she ever stepped on the airplane, but then also she actually executed it while she, and like you said, she had more things than she
lined
actually
up.
needed.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So,
Exactly.
and we got a lot of people here being very inspired and just by her determination and being able to stick to it. So
cool. So after listening to that, we've got some questions that Dieter's going to throw out there. I'm going to throw out the first one here. I'm going to go to number 10 here, Dieter. Do you think air travel will ever feel as normal as driving or taking a train? Why or why not? So you're out there. Most people think, oh, I could never, ever normalize this in what? So, but we want to throw that out there. So in response to that question, do you ever think air travel for you will feel as normal as driving? Or the way it was before you were afraid, for those of you who flew and then it became an issue? Just put an answer in there as we go forth here. We're gonna any other things right now, Dieter? Otherwise, I'll go back to the
no, I put the first two questions in chat as well.
Okay, cool. Cool.
They're floating
so
out there.
We just want to give you some things. We want to get some information from all of you. It's helpful to us. And we want to hear what your experience is out there. Okay, let me restart the play from the slide. Here we go. Share. Hopefully you're looking at surprise guest.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So this Thursday coming up, just how can it get any simpler? Why flying feels scary, even when it's safe. And this really, I got the idea when I was working with Roxana. I just said, how is it that it makes it feel so threatening and so intimidating when it is the safest way to travel on the planet? So we're going to spend the entire evening. I'll have a couple of words that we'll have some activities, we'll have some meditations. And we'll do some one-on-one coaching with those who join us who are bold enough to do that. So please, if you don't have anything else better, if you don't know what to do for your next step, consider coming to just this Thursday night webinar and get an idea why flying feels so scary. Okay. So join us live. This is the links there, and Dieter no doubt has put those in or will put them into the notes as well.
Yeah, they're in the chat.
Yeah. Again, it's why flying feels scary even when it's safe, and that's going to be the topic. We're gonna talk again about the emotional brain, your elephant brain, how it hijacks your sense of calm. We're gonna talk about tools like heart coherent breathing, that's in for 4 seconds, out for 6, and the 5-4-3-2-1 technique if you're a little bit more advanced. We're going to talk about how pilots and air traffic control keep flights safe even during emergencies. And again, it's this Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. It's our live monthly group coaching webinar. And please don't miss the chance to reclaim your calm like Roxana did, and directly from me and Dieter and those many of you out there who will be contributing as well. Reserve your spot. Click to register, and you'll be in. I wanted to talk just a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about the air traffic controllers. This is maybe a little bit beyond what you might be interested in, but I thought it would have some interest because of all the news about the shortage of controllers there. I thought, well, let's just talk about how they're going to bring the numbers up to get fully qualified controllers in there, and right at the outset, I want to address the thing: why is the air traffic control system so safe? It's safe because despite the burps that you hear about in the news, you just can't see what really goes on behind the scenes. And if you've never ever really looked into what it means to be an air traffic controller, I'll show you tonight just how we bring new traffic controllers into the system and get them qualified. There is an FAA Academy in Oklahoma City, and they've been doing this, believe it or not, since 1946, shortly after the war. And it's the key thing. So even though we did not get radar coverage, was really slow in coming. It was another, I think, 10 years before we started getting radar. We assume and take it for granted that radar is such a widespread thing, but it hasn't been forever. And we didn't even have an air route traffic control system until 1956, I believe, when two airliners collided when they were both sightseeing over the Grand Canyon. And so it goes back a long ways. And the training center in Oklahoma City is crucial for maintaining air traffic safety. And it's been a key training ground since 1946. Produced controllers who manage over 85,000 flights a day. So it's a big task. Just an overview, it's a 30-hour instructor-led course, and they have a workbook, and it covers foundational ATC knowledge and skills. That's just to survive the academy, what you have to do to get going like this. Some of the numbers here, there's over 3,000 new controllers needed. Training has been expanded by 30%, leading to a 30% pay increase for trainees and an accelerated hiring timeline. If you've got a son or a daughter that around the age of 19 or 20 and they absolutely don't know what to do, maybe they like video games, maybe they have some talents in that area, you might talk to them about this and see if they might have any interest, because it is a good job. It's stressful, but it's a good job. And it was in January of 2025 this year that you all remember we had that tragic mid-air collision in the Washington, D.C. area where the helicopter ran into the regional jet landing. And so that really brought the things to a head. Unfortunately, as human beings, and certainly in our culture, things happen more readily after we have a tragedy. And that's pretty much what happened at that. And so the FAA decided, or they went on record as saying, okay, we got to do some gargantuan things here to get this process moving. So they raised the pay, they accelerated their hiring timelines. I want to just look at what the hiring process is. There's an aptitude test. You got to pass rigorous medical and background checks. You got to be under 31 years old, and only 10% of the people who apply to be controllers pass the initial screening. So they get rid of 90% of the group that comes forward. So you can see it's highly selective, despite the fact that we need a lot of controllers right now. And approximately 35% of the people wash out late in the program. I think I mentioned before, I had a cousin who was an air traffic controller in the Air Force, and he went to the academy. He made the physical requirements, but he washed out late in the program. There's a very demanding part of the training toward the end there, where they challenge you to completely keep your cool when the radar simulated goes out. Very challenging. And that's the part where pilots have trouble doing that. The phases of training, they start with tabletops, literally where they have little pointers and they push these airplanes around the airport. They have a mock airport, and it helps them to label and get used to the traffic and the jargon that goes on at an airport routinely. And then they have tower simulation, where they practice controlling airplanes, looking at spacing on this thing. And it's kind of like, if you've ever seen those old World War II movies where they would have these big operations rooms, and they would have the bombers going over Europe, and they'd have these people with sticks moving the thing forward, moving the flights forward to show where the progress of everybody there. And then they have labs, which is nothing more than a simulator, only it's a radar simulator that they put people through. Very high tech, very sophisticated, and very complete training. And even with that, once people get out, or once they graduate, they still have to go through up to 3 years of monitoring before they become fully qualified. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, and here it is. Placement compensation, 1 to 3 years after training, or more training after graduation. And they divide the controllers into 2 groups. One group are people who control tower and the traffic around the tower, and another one in radar around an airport, and the others go to air route traffic control, which they go to these big sectors like Denver Center and Albuquerque Center, Los Angeles Center, and they control the airplanes in the high altitude system up there. Average pay, not bad, $160,000 after 3 years, and you get paid for going through training. You get paid right from the outset. So it's good. And it is stressful, but you can retire at 56 or age 50 if you started when you were 30 and were able to get 20 years. So it's like I said, it's a lucrative job, and this is the way they describe it. The culture and the daily reality of being a controller: 90% slow and boring, 9% exciting, and 1%, oh my gosh, or OMG. And ironically, that's a lot like flying. Most of it is slow and boring. 9% of it is exciting. And then 1% is what you get paid the big bucks, as we used to work. It can be monotonous, but it's punctuated by moments of intense pressure. And they have rigorous breaks built into the days of the controllers. And I just want to say in closing, it's essential to this academy is essential to this, and it's really imperative in order to prepare for the next generation of air traffic control. So even though you may not know too much more technically than what you did before, I want to give you a little bit background of what's going on right now and how intense the training is for air traffic controllers. Before we part company tonight, I wanted to do a quick update. This was really tragic news this week. We still don't know the full impact of this, but what came out was they found the throttle quadrant where something called the fuel cutoff switches are located, and they found them in the off position. And the only way you can get those switches into the off position is for someone to consciously and with purpose pick them up and put them and move them to the cutoff position. I got a little video here. Let me show you what it looks like. Oops, sorry. Go back. You see these two cutoff switches right down here, fuel control, run, and cutoff. What you may not notice, it's you can't just bump this. This is not something you could bump and move to the cutoff position. You have to physically pull up on that button and clear a barrier and then slide it over. And so the video doesn't show that all that well. But it's not something that you could inadvertently hit and turn off. And so, and there was some validation from the cockpit voice recorder where they heard one pilot, they don't know which one, say to the other, "You shut off the engine." Okay, and they just said,
the other one said, "No, I did not."
Yeah, and the other one denied it. So we may never know the ultimate answer, but it does appear that it was, at the very least, it may have been crew error or pilot error there. So, and that's, you hate to see that as a human being because it is, you know, it's just tragic. It makes it just so much more tragic to know that it was a perfectly flyable airplane and it might have been human error that caused that.
I think because Sandra is asking, so was the Air India pilot suicidal? I think before we jump to those conclusions, like everything that Ron said, nothing is actually really been like confirmed. The problem is we have only, and that's actually not something I find challenging, but a lot of North American aviation experts actually seem quite perturbed by the selective way of how information is coming out. So we can't say that this was a deliberate act. All like what Ron said, from the information that was given, one speculation is that it is possible that somebody obviously did it purposefully, probably with the intention of killing themselves and everybody else with them. But we don't really know any of that definitively. And I don't know that it's a, you know, again, what Ron said earlier is far more important to recognize, and that is how many flights take off safely and land safely every single day. And while we can, you know, obviously maybe design the switches better, even though the FAA never thought that was a problem. But they did point it out, but they didn't think that somebody would ever do that. So I think the important thing is to recognize where you have agency and where you have control, just like Roxana was talking about earlier in the interview, and really build on that for your flight and your upcoming flight. I think that's a much more important thing to focus on, rather than whether or not that
it was an intentional act.
Exactly.
And I'm biased. I think one, I know I worked in human factors for the last 20 years of my career, and I've looked at incidents that didn't necessarily evolve into accidents. And you see people who are of very experienced pilots make mistakes just because they get so routine and so nonchalant about doing it. And so I'm not saying that pilots don't care. I'm not saying, it's part of being human to make mistakes. And if you've ever done something inadvertently in your own house, cooking a meal, driving your car, you know what that's like. When you hitting the remote on the TV, when you know what you wanted to do and yet you hit another switch and you say, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that." And so I'm biased. I think that's probably is what's gonna come out there. And it's just tragic. no matter what the ultimate reason is, it's tragic when you find an airplane that was perfectly flyable and they had a problem. So anyway, so I don't know if there's any other questions out there, Dieter. Any responses that we got?
Well, there were a couple of things regarding Kimberly. Kimberly said that she never will feel quite the same flying as driving, and her goal, and I think that's a really good goal, is not to be upset that she's gonna fly, right? And
Exactly.
So I think that's really important, and that's a great goal to have. And then Robert says, looking forward to my test flight with Captain Ron in a few days.
Cool.
I love what Marcia said. Marcia said, living in Miami, sometimes it feels just as stressful driving on the expressways than flying. So,
and your opportunity for accidents and mistakes is way higher than it is in an airplane. So that's a good point.
And a couple people like this this idea, or I'm gonna say this false idea, that they're safer in the car, right? Because the idea is that I'm in control, right? I can stop, I can pull over, and that may be true, but we're not in control of the pedestrians, we're not in control of the animals, we're not in control of other motorists, or for that's, like, God forbid, but most of our cars aren't as well maintained and on the same schedule as all of these airplanes are. And so
just driving down an undivided street, going with a closure rate, doing 60 miles an hour and 60 miles an hour with 120 mile an hour closure rate, we take for granted that the person in the other lane is going to miss us, and that doesn't happen. And you can talk to families and people who have been in accidents like that. It's just not. It's a great point, dear. We take for granted and we think automobiles are much safer. So anyway, it's safe to fly. We can't. There's nothing else to say. And we're gonna have accidents and tragedies as long as there's human beings involved in that. But you're not gonna die in a plane crash, I guarantee. So
then also quickly, Stephen is looking forward to do his VIP coaching flight with you.
We're going to fly tomorrow. I don't like to single him out, but if he did, Stephen, I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow morning in Burbank. And Robert, next week, I'll be going to Las Vegas to fly with that. If any of you out there, if you don't know what to do a 15-minute coaching session. Do yourself a favor. Start doing something. Because I guarantee you, if you don't do anything different from the last time you flew, you're probably not going to find it any better. You're going to get the same results. So follow Stephen, follow Robert in their path, and Roxana for sure. Do something and get yourself over this. There's no reason. And one of the most often uttered responses by people is, "Gee, I wished I'd have done this a lot earlier in my life." So don't wait anymore. It's time for you to get up into the air. So anyway,
absolutely.
Okay, so thanks, Dieter. Thanks to all of you out there once again. We'll see you again next week, which seems like it's tomorrow at the rate my days are going.
It's going.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks for watching us, and this has been another episode of Fearless Flight Live. We'll see you again next week. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week and happy landings.
Thanks. Good night. And like Sandra said, happy flying.